Okay. So just a quick recap of what we have done in the last class. In the last class, we logged in as administrator at Pega.com. We ran the DCO. We created a new application which is for health insurance. We named the application as approvals. We named the organization as AIG, and we have a case type with the name as authorization, and we have a data type or nothing but data table with the name as drugs, I guess. Drugs. Okay. So we completed creating an application. We had 4 default out of the box operator IDs created. I logged in as admin@AIG, and my password is rules. Okay. So from today, I'll be working with admin@AIG only. I will not log in as administrator at Pega.com again. Only when you're building an initial application, you use the credentials. Okay. So now I want to go ahead with my requirement and start building my application. So in real time, what happens is like you get your requirement document or your specification document from the BA. Okay. So your client and your BA will discuss. Your BA prepares the requirement document or the specification document and is going to share it with you. So we usually share through SharePoint or some other tools where we gather the requirements. Just give me a second. There's some background noise. Let me. Okay. So we get requirement from your BA, and they can put it in your SharePoint or in any other location where we usually store requirements and defects and all this stuff. Okay. And we also have some tools where we sometimes even, let's say if it's a new requirement, it's a new scratch project, you get the requirement document. What if it's an enhancement or the support or defect fix kind of, we usually have some tools, okay, where they create a ticket for us. In the ticket, they'll attach the document, they'll specify the requirement in the body, and they will assign it to a particular person who is supposed to work it on. And let's say they assign it to me. Then what will I do? I'll get a mail notification saying that a ticket has been created to me. So I'll log in into that particular tool, open the ticket, see what is the requirement. I'll put any like messages back if I have any queries. If I'm good, I'll change my ticket status to work started or work in progress something. So once I'm done with my work, I'll put the status to send for testing. So maybe I'll send it for the QA team for testing. I'll deploy the code, I'll send for QA to test. So once the QA tests it, maybe they'll say testing completed. Then again I have to change it to send for UAT. Then the UAT team will come, they will test it. They're done, send for production. Code deployed, resolved. So as we keep working on the ticket or in the requirement, we keep changing the status in that particular tool, and that's how we move from dev to production. Now here it's a from the scratch requirement, right? You're creating for the first time. So what you will do is you will just have a requirement document shared somewhere either in a SharePoint location or some XYZ location that your company uses some tool or whatever it is. Now you'll go to the requirement and you'll be start building your this thing. So the first thing that we usually build is the case type rule. So case type rule is the end-to-end business flow of your application. So you have to read the entire document, okay, and you have to split your application into multiple stages. A stage is just a small module, or you can say a small sub process in that whole big application. So in my life cycle tab, I have to click on add stages. See, under case type, not data model, under life cycle, you have to click on add stages. So you have to start adding stages over here. Every stage is a collection of flows, and every stage is nothing but a small part of my or a small like a module of my application. Okay. So now yours is now getting authorization for the insurance. Okay. So what I'm supposed to do, okay, let me take a notepad. Just let me pause my screen, guys. Okay. So in my application, the first thing or the entire use case is first I have to capture all the member details. The first thing is like capture member details. So my application can be used by two people. I mean, like the end users, either a member or a pharmacist. So either a doctor or a pharmacist can log in into my application, and they can uh, create a case, and they can get insurance. So sometimes, even a doctor can raise a insurance for his patient. Sometimes the patient himself can also enroll into the application and raise insurance for himself. Okay. So two people can use my application, and users are two people, either a member or a pharmacist. Okay. So what I'll do is like I will create two case types. Okay. So one case type I'll be teaching you in the class. Second case type you'll be working in parallel at your home. Okay. So I'll have two case types. One case type is authorization, right? Second case type, let's name it as pharmacist auth request. Means a pharmacist can raise a authorization request for his patient. So I would like to name it as pharmacist auth request. Okay. So I'll have two case types. One is just authorization. Maybe we might have named it as member authorization or something, or member auth request, but now we are done, right? Anyways, ignore it. So you can have two case types. One is for member authorization request, and other one is for pharmacist authorization request. Okay. So I'll be teaching on authorization. You have to work on pharmacist auth request. Both will be like one and the same. Little bit of changes here and there will make. So whatever is the case type, end of the day, first I want to like just give me a second. Some people are dropping and it's okay. So first thing is like you have to capture the member details. So in the first screen, I expect the user to give his member ID. So you'll have some ID which you have enrolled with my insurance company, right? So I have to enter that ID and I'll get to the details from my backend system, like your name, your first name, your address, what is the plan that you have enrolled for. We usually have something called as a carrier account and groups. Those who work in insurance company, you will be aware of this terminologies. Carrier account and group is nothing but it's just like in carrier you'll have some plans, in account you'll have some plans, and in group you'll have some plans. So it's like a package. So you have this package of features for your insurance. So you can get this covered under your insurance. That's what it is. Okay. So I'll get what all plans you are covered under this. Everything I'll get from a database whenever you hit my whenever you give your member ID. Second one is you have to give your pharmacist details. I mean, nothing with the doctor details. So your doctor will also be enrolled with the company. So you have to give his details because what happens sometimes is we will check whether your prescription is true or not. We will check with the doctor. Is this true prescription? And sometimes if he has given overdosage, we'll tell him why like this month of dosage. And then sometimes he gives some costly drugs. We go and check like why not formulary alternatives. There are many formulary alternatives. Why do you want to go with this? Okay, it's because you can't go with high costly drugs all the time until unless it's really required for your treatment. So for all these things, we need the pharmacist details as well. So I'll get pharmacist details. Second one. Then we'll ask him some questions. We'll put some questions. So those questions are like, uh, okay, sorry. The next one is drug details. You have to give the drug details. So you have to give what is the drug name. When you give the drug name, I'll give you like what all types of mgs are available: 100 mg, 10 mg, 200 mg, etc., etc. I'll give you. You have to select how much mg you want and how many tablets you want. Number of tablets and how much mg you want. You have to do because maybe under your plan I can give you this drug only for 10 tablets. You get covered, not for 100 tablets. So if the person is like using it in a course like a 6 months or something, I can't give him the whole thing, right? So we ask him like how many tablets you want, and we'll check whether this whole set of count that he requires is covered under my plan or not. Okay, so I have to get the drug details and how many and etc. etc. I'll collect in this particular screen. Then in the next thing, this first set. Then in the next thing, what I'll do, I will in the backend. Okay, in the backend you need to check if this drug is covered. Okay, if this drug is covered, well and good. If it is not covered, you have to put a message saying that would you like to go with a copay or a co-ratio. Copay co-ratio means copay means you pay half. Co-ratio means some ratio you will pay 60/40, 70/30, some ratio. If this drug is covered, whole thing I'll pay. If not, we'll propose a copay co-ratio concept. Okay, so you'll back end will do all these things. Check if the drug is covered. If not, go with copay erosion. All these things will come. Then we'll ask him some more questions. Okay, some more questions like, see, before I give him a drug, I need to check like if he is a diabetic, does he have heart attack, does he have XYZ. So all those things we have to check. And if it is diabetic or he has sugar or something, we would ask him to upload the reports as well, because maybe if my this new drug might cause something to him, right? So we ask him to questionnaire, and we ask for reports to upload. Okay, so we'll ask him to upload the reports based on his prior health history. Maybe this drug may or may not be given to him, right? So we ask him to upload all those things. Then this ends here. Then he will submit the screen and it routes to pharmacist. So from here, the end user part is done. I mean, the user part is done. Member part or the patient part is done. It routes to a pharmacist in my company, okay, or the insurance company. Now the pharmacist will find it in his work list. So this guy is going to open the tickets or the cases. He will verify. Okay, he will verify and approve if he feels it is good, or if he feels it requires some other's authorization, is not able to decide whether to approve or not, he will route to another person called as medical director. Now again, it gets routed to MD. So now the MD again he will verify and he might approve or send for more information to patient. So you might approve, then the insurance he will get. If you don't approve and he sends for more information, member has to fill the information. Again, the same cycle repeats. Okay. So finally, he might be approved or rejected, or he might have a copay co-ratio concept. So this is the one. Now, based on this, we have to decide what are the stages here. So first one is, I would like to name it as collect information. Okay. So collect information is a stage where I would collect all this information. Member details, pharmacist details, drug details, and check all these things. Okay, I'm just breaking my application into multiple stages. Second one is checking the drug can be approved or not and his questions. Check drug how better we can name it. I'm just thinking. So I have to check the drug details and I have to decide whether and ask for reports to upload and all. Check drug. Check drug covered. Check if drug is covered or not. I have to check. Check drug. Mm, I'll name it as is drug covered. Covered in the sense, is it covered in my plan? Okay, so I'll just check if its drug is covered or not. I'll suggest formula, all that we'll have here. Then, so this is pharmacist approval. May or may not approve, but just pharmacist approval process will start here. Okay, so after pharmacist approves, the case gets resolved. Okay, so I gave it as the last one as resolved. But what if the pharmacist doesn't approve? See, this is happy path. Pharmacist steps to resolve. The pharmacist doesn't approve, you again route to MD, right? So this is an alternative path. You can't put it here. Okay, I can't say after pharmacist approval it goes to MD approval, because it doesn't happen all the time. It's only sometimes. What if the pharmacist doesn't approve, it goes to MD? But it's not a straightforward path for me. So it's an alternate path. It may or may not happen. So how do you put alternate paths? Just you have to go here and say configure alternate stages. Okay, so they are optional. So here it is MD review. Again, after this, he might approve or reject. If he approves, well and good. If he doesn't approve, so fine. But end of the day, again, you will resolve the case. Oh, sorry, no other alternate stage is not required. I clicked. Okay, I'll just save it. So this is the. If you have software already installed, take a minute and do it. Let me know if you have it because I don't think uh, some people have it, but I know you haven't completed your DCO. So I don't think there's no one to practice right now for today. But guys, please do install it by next class at least. Because I don't, like, I don't encourage practicing post class. I prefer you to practice in parallel with me in the class so that, if you get stuck anywhere, I can help you getting into your screen. Do install your app softwares. Okay. So these are my stages. Any questions still here? Take a minute, try to understand. Let me know if you have any questions still here. Just a second. Okay. I hope you don't have 1 second. Okay. Why is there so many questions? Just give me a second, guys. I didn't see. If MD doesn't accept, the case gets routed back to the. No. If it doesn't accept, that's it. Case got rejected. Like the person will not get any insurance for that particular drug he told. Babu, you want to talk? Okay, let me unmute you then. You can unmute yourself if you're yeah, you're unmuted. You can just speak. Guys, you can also unmute yourself. Babu, you can speak. You are not on mute anymore. Shrikar, in insurance means in this particular health insurance, usually like it's only we give drugs. It's like insurance how we do in US. See, in US they get insurance for all their drugs, right? For all the medication they take. So that is the application it is all about. Prescription docs and everything they get added under this stage only. Under each drug covered only you will have steps. Guys, these are only stages. Under each stage you will have multiple steps. Every step is a flow. So in that steps, you can define multiple screens, like for uploading this, for checking that. So all that you can, this stage is just a high level grouping of your tasks which you do. Okay. So this is just a stage. Under stage, I can have n number of flows. Under flow, I can have n number of screens, validations, and everything. Okay. But not for everything we define a stage. Stage is just a superset. Okay. Of your tasks you do. Okay. And each and every stage will have some tasks which are related to that stage. And how to create a child case, I'll show you, Jay Krishna. There's nothing as rejected. Oh, you are right. You are right. We should have one stage when it gets rejected. Good question. So, guys, yeah, Pradeep had one question. So, what if it gets rejected? Where does he go? Okay, let's have a new stage for rejection. So, we'll have another page called as rejected. Okay. So, when it is rejected, we'll give a different status to the case. I hope everybody knows the work object statuses, right? You have new, open, pending, resolve. So when as your work object keeps moving, you give some different statuses. So when I'm here, I will say I'm in open status. When I'm here, I'll put some status. When I'm here, I'll put it in pending approval status. When I'm here, I'll say pending MD review status. So whenever you look at the work object, looking at the status itself, you should be able to determine in which stage it is. So we usually give different statuses to the work object to make us and to make users understand where they are. Okay. So similarly, if the pharmacist approves or if the MD approves, very good, you will go to resolve state and your status will be resolved completed. But what if it gets rejected? I should give a different status, right? So I'll put it here and I'll give a status as resolved rejected. Okay. So you have two different stages now, alternate stages. One is happy path and one is alternate path. Jay Krishna, I'll show you child custody. One second. Okay. So we'll just keep moving with the first one. When we go to the child, I'll show you how to create a child as well. Just Jay Krishna, just at a high level, how to create a child case. Just you need to go here, sorry, here and say add case type. Okay, if you want to create a child case, okay, and you can give a name to it. Just say I'm saying just child case, just for your understanding. Okay, and when you give the parent, you have to make sure like who is your parent. So if this is your parent, your child will be EIG hyphen approvals hyphen work dash child case. So it is a parallel of authorization case. So I mean like from work only authorization inherited. So from work only child case inherits. So they're like two siblings. They're parallels. Or if you want this to inherit from authorization, I mean like current class child you want, then give work dash authorization. Then it's a child of authorization class. Okay. If you say submit, it will be created. That's it. A class will be created. A child stage will be created. Case type will also be created. Okay. This is how we create this one. Please save your changes till here. Just give me 1 second. Just a second, guys. Okay. Now, so your stage creation is completed. Okay. So now you have to start adding steps. So before I start adding steps, I would also like to define the status at every stage. So if when you click on a stage, you see the stage configuration, right? So automatically move to next stage, wait for user action, resolve the case. So like after completing one stage, you have to go to next stage. So it's preferred to put automatically move to next stage. So one is completed, automatically the next stage starts. You need the user need not click on something. So if you want the user to click, you can say wait for user action. Resolve the case means that is the last stage, no more progress. So for this one, you will give resolve the case. For this one, you will give resolve the case. But for others, you should not give resolve the case. So automatically move to next stage. SLS will do later. Okay. Any user actions, any validations if you want to give, you can give here. User actions mean any optional actions. Like let's say, see you are in this screen, right? You see some optional actions. I can do refresh, I can do all these things. Similarly, if you want to give any optional actions to your user on the right top like this, you can define them here. Either you can give an optional flow or you can give a single optional screen. Okay. And this is the where's the status one? For everything, put automatically move to next stage because I don't want user to move to the next stage. I mean, like I don't want user to manually click on something. The user has to automatically traverse to the next stage. How come there's no status in this version here? Usually in 7.16, 7.17 and 8, you will have an option to give your status here itself. 7 to 1 May, it's not there. I don't know where they moved. Yeah, Pega is changing all its settings. Usually in other versions of Pega, you'll find an option here to enter the status. Just a drop down, you'll find here. Now it's not there. Fine, we'll do it in the flow. That's okay. Okay, and you see this in alternate stage. They're asking you, is this resolution stage? Means, is this the last stage? No, right? So no, it is. Okay. Then for rejected, again they'll ask, is this resolution stage? Yes, this is the last stage. Okay. Now you see this. There's a status here, resolve completed, right? So I don't want to give resolve completed. I want to give resolve rejected. So we'll create a new status rule in Pega and we'll plug in it here. Status is also a property. Okay, you can define new values there. We'll do it. Let me see for this also. This is also resolve the case, right? This is the last stage, right? So I said resolve the case. And you have status resolve completed. I'm fine with this. For resolve completed, I'm fine. It's a happy path approved. In case of rejection, guys, did you observe this red line? Red line indicates it's the last stage. Okay. So in case of rejected, I don't want to say resolve completed. Let me see if there's anything called as resolve rejected. No? Okay, we'll create. No problem. Let me see if you have any questions here. Babu, as I told you, a new stage is not required for uploading prescriptions. So you can just have a step in a flow. A stage is not required. Stage is just, as I told you, a superset of multiple processes. Okay. Yes, attachments can be done as a part of user action. No, not as an optional action. You can even give it as a in the main screen only. You can give it, or yes, otherwise you can give it as an optional screen also. Okay. So now, as I told you, I want to give a new status called as resolve rejected. So what is the property which holds your work object status? py status work is a default Pega property which holds your work object statuses. Okay, if you see this, there are multiple status: failed, in progress, new, open, pending. There are many statuses here that you see. Okay, actually, the property is py status work, but Pega has given a field value to it. So for one property, you can give multiple values using the concept of field values. Okay, so they gave multiple values by giving field values, and you can put it that field value in any class. So property belongs to some work class or data class or something. So your property belongs to multiple classes here also. But we work with work classes, right? You are in work dash authorization class. So this is your property. Okay, and this property has many values in work classes like this. Okay, so take any one property that is existing, any one field value. I'll do a save as, and I'll give my name. My name, in the sense, my status name. Resolved, rejected. Okay, I'll do a save as. I'm creating a new field value. Manu, I don't find rejected here. See, there's nothing as rejected. Maybe it belongs to some other class, but not here. Oh wow, awesome. I didn't find it. Yeah, guys, we have it. Sorry. Thanks, Manu. Okay, resolved rejected, we do have it. Okay, so then you can simply give it. No need to change. Otherwise, you should have created like this. Just instead of label, give rejected, resolved rejected, and say create. That's it. So if it was not there, you might have created by giving the value as resolved rejected here. But as I have it, I'm not going to create. Okay, but in real time, not all this time your status will be available, right? Yeah, now even now you don't have this pharmacist approval status, right? We have to create. Let's create then. So let me take that field value from the recent explorer. I'm taking a field value. I need status for pharmacist approval, MD approval, and all those things. Let me check it. Just a second. Okay, I'll take a status as in pharmacist approval status. I'm creating a new status. Okay, so you have to create it in your class. I'm creating in my class. Approvals is my rule set. Okay, now one more thing. When you're working in rule set, when you're working in real time, you will have a team of people who are working. Okay, and everybody works on a different release. Okay, so you will have multiple rule sets and you'll have multiple versions. Okay, so right now I'm working on 010101, but after this I'll do one thing. I'll create 02, 03, 04. So some people will be working on 01 version, some in 02, some in 03, and some in 04, because we work for different releases. Okay, and sometimes there is a chance that, let's say for example, you and I are working on a same flow. Okay, I'm working on 01, you are working on 02. Oh, no, no. Let's say, for example, I'm working on 02, you're working on 03. 01 is already in production. Okay. So now, what happens? Uh, I did a save as from 01 rule. There were only 3 shapes earlier. I added one more shape in 02. Okay. Similarly, you are working in parallel with me. What you did, you didn't do save as from 02. Okay, because you didn't know I was working on it. You didn't check that. You simply took again from 01 and you did a save as into 03. Now what happens? First my code will go into production. I kept 4 shapes. Very good. Now next your code will go into production. You didn't add any shapes. You did just change some configuration in the flow. You gave only 3 shapes in 03. So my code will not work anymore because 03 is the highest version. Pega always picks the highest version. Okay. So when you're working in parallel developments, you should be very careful from where you are saving, because some other people will be working on the same rule in other version. So before you pick a rule, you should be very careful. And in order to prevent this, we usually work in branches. So I'll explain you what is a branch later. Okay. For now, I'm just telling you this is how we have rule sets and versions. And one version will be dedicated to one set of people. They'll be working for that particular release. Yeah, Sam, that's what I'm telling you. I'll tell you branches. As we keep moving, I'll tell you branches. Okay. So just say create and open. I'm working on 01 version. See, I'm working on 01. Maybe you guys might be working on 02. So you should not select 01. What if you select 01? Your code will be deployed with my code. Okay. So strictly stick to your versions, what you're working on. Do not select other people's versions. Your code will not go in your release, or your code might go in my release, a prior release or something. Okay. And here please change your This one. This is the that's it. You just added a field value. Now you can use it later. Like whenever you require, you can use it. Pharmacist approval I created. Okay. Just a second, guys. Okay. Okay. So we added this one, right? So you added some statuses. Actually, on all the other stages also, you're supposed to see the status drop down here. But somehow in this version, again, they removed, I guess. So we can give it on the flows also. Not a problem. We can give it on the flow. We'll give the status on the flow. Okay. So done. You created your stages. Now under each stage, you have to start defining your flows. Okay. So under the stage, if you want to add a flow, you don't see any plus icon, right? So you have to click on this add processes. Okay. Then say add process. Now you see the plus icons. Okay. Now here, if you just give the step name, okay, Pega will automatically create your flow, and it will also put shapes under it based on the information you provide here. Every flow is a network of shapes. Okay. So what is the first flow and what are screens you want in your flow? Uh, you want to capture the member details, you want to capture the pharmacy details, you want drug details. Okay, awesome. So whenever you click here, you see there are some out of the box things displaying here. Collect information, approve or reject, and if you click on more, you will see more out of the box utilities. So what is the use of this? In the earlier days of Pega, these people don't give names while joining. I don't know why. Just a second, guys. Somebody has audio issues and trying to log in, so I'm just trying to help them. Okay, so whenever you click on this, you usually come across some out of the box utilities. Okay, now what is the use of them? So if I say collect information, Pega will automatically create me a flow and there'll be a shape in it, assignment shape in it. So I hope you guys know, right? Assignment shape is the only shape which can gather information from the user. I mean, like assignment shape is the only shape where you can display a screen to the user. In other shapes, you cannot display any screens. Oh, no sections, no fractions possible. Okay. So when you say collect information, Pega automatically will create you a section, flow action, a flow, and everything it will do for you. When you say approve and reject, Pega has an out-of-the-box flow where there will be a path for approval, a path for rejection, and screens and everything. So maybe you can use this in your MD review, in your pharmacist approval path. Okay. So what all things are available out of the box? There are many things, guys. I want to send an email. You see something for email here. Okay. Maybe what else you can see? Let me see. Let me show you otherwise. We'll see here. If you just keep browsing, you'll find. You say resolve the case. You can see change stage. Okay, you can create a new work object. You can assign some goals and deadlines. So there are many things. You can jump from one stage to another stage. You can create a child case from here. You can create a PDF document from here. Okay, so you can do many, many, many things. Okay. Duplicate case search means if with the same details, if there's any other work object, it will figure out if same member is trying to apply insurance twice or thrice. How can he do that? For one only for one person only one time we approve that insurance for one drug. So if he's trying to do multiple times, you can use a duplicate search and you can figure out, Acha, with this member, with this doctor, with this drug, I already have multiple cases. Why is he again applying? So you can figure out. So there are many out of the box utilities available here. So based on your requirement, you can choose them and Pega will help you in creating the flows. So now my first thing is just only to collect information about member, pharmacist and drug. So I can choose collect information. Done. Okay. So how many screens I need? I need three. One for member, one for pharmacist, one for drug. So twice, then thrice. So three screens. Okay. And guys, this whole block is one single flow. Okay, people who have lower versions of Pega, or if you by any chance if you get into a project which is less than 7.2, you will not have like this whole block. In 7.1.6 and lower versions, one single step is one flow. But from 7.1.7 or 8, one block is nothing but one single flow, and every step is a shape in that flow. But if you take lower versions, every step itself is a flow. Every step itself is a flow. Here, every step is not a flow. Every step is a shape in the flow. So if I want to add another flow, I have to click here and say add parallel process or add process. Then another flow will start. See, you see this dots? This is another block again. So this is another flow. And every step here, it will be a shape in the flow again. Okay. But if you're using lower versions of Pega or by chance you got into a lower version of Pega, do remember that every step is a flow there. Okay. So I'm crossing it. Now I have only one flow collect information. I have three shapes inside it. Let me give the name of each shape. So this is uh, member details. You can give spaces. This is pharmacist details. This is, yes, in parallel process, not completed, they start immediately. See how does you whenever you enter into a stage, first this flow will execute. After completion of all the three steps, next flow will start. But if you say parallel process, both the things will start at the same time. So in the such cases, what we do, we have one thing in the foreground and one thing executes in the background. So background is like sending a mail notification or something like that. So in such cases, we do parallel process. Okay, no dependency in such cases. Okay, then drug. Okay, why drug details here? You can, okay, fine. Okay, so I would like to save till here. Okay, now, so I completed my first stage, right? Let's start working on the first stage. So let me open this. Okay. Okay. So you see the status here. Now you can give a status here. So what do you want to give in the first one? First one, I'll give only like open status. I mean, if the case is an open status, that's it. Okay. Second, all three, it's like the case is an open status, nothing specific. Third one also, the case is an open status. And the whole stage actually, okay, this is the feature that is missing in lower versions then. Oh, no, it was there in lower version. Lower version, you can give a case, like status at case type level. See, it's difficult, right? Every step, why should I give my status? At a stage level, I would like to give a status. That is much easy. So if I have 10 steps, do I need to give 10 times? This is the problem, okay? But in lower versions we had, I don't know why this guy removed in 7 to 1. Okay. So fine, I gave a status here. Now, you click on the first shape. So you want to define the text boxes or what fields you want to see on the screen. So you said I want 3 screens. Very good. Now what about the fields you want to see on the screen? I say configure view. Okay. So I can define what fields I would like to see on the screen. So first field would be, I will ask member ID. Okay. It is a text. Yes. It is. It's always preferred to give text, guys, rather than integers. What is this? Okay. It's optional. No, it's required. Member ID he have to give. So it's a mandatory field. So asterisk will come. When you put required, asterisk comes. Then what else? So member ID, this guy will enter and I have to fetch his details. So what all details you're going to fetch? You're going to fetch his uh, first name. It's a text. Yes. You're going to fetch his last name. You're going to fetch his address. Then first name, last name, address, last 4 digits of SSN. Okay. Because there will be many people with the same name, right, and same address. So how do I figure out who is this guy? So we also store last 4 digits of SSN. Then his contact number. Then his email ID. If you want more, we can add it later. Okay. So these are things you fetch. Okay, last 4 digits of SSN, you can make it integer, contact number, you can make it a double, Y double. Integer has a size limit. So if you give 10 digits, integer doesn't accept it and it will go to the negative scale. So do give a double, not a integer. If you don't find double, go for decimal. Actually, when you open the property, you will find double. From here, double is not visible. Double, double, not there. Okay, so we'll do one thing. We'll not create it this year because contact number, if you give it as integer and if you give 10 digits, it goes to a negative scale. So I'll not create the property here. We'll create it from a different place. Okay. So these things I have created. This is required. These are optional because this I get from the DB. I may or may not have them. Okay. And these are read-onlys because I'm going to get from the DB and I'm going to display it. Okay. It's not something that the user is going to enter. User enters only member ID for me and I'm going to fetch these details and displaying a read-only mode. Okay. So now when I submit the screen, what is going to happen? When I submit the screen, Pega is going to create properties, sections, flow actions and map them to the flow. So it will create properties, it will put them into the section, it will create a section and put them into a flow action and that flow action is mapped to your flows. Whole set of mapping Pega takes care. Okay. So now I simply say submit. Yeah, I'll tell you just a second. Running short of charge. Just give me a second. Okay. Now I want to check is my properties, sections, flow actions, flows, everything configured by Pega or not. So I'll go to App Explorer. This is my class, right? Leaf icon indicates it's a class. So expand my class. Flows are found under process category. So process, flow. My first flow, right? Collect information. Collect information. You see this? There are three assignment shapes. They came because of what you have configured here. You configured three, here three assignment shapes are there. Now, for this assignment shape, if you just click on the outgoing connector, you see there is a flow action created by Pega. I open it. This is flow action auto generated by Pega, and there's a section inside it. Click on this crosshair icon, section opens. Okay, so you see all these are properties auto generated by Pega. Just say convert to full section editor, then you can edit it. Okay, so Pega has created this screen. It kept all the fields inside it. It even created properties for you. If you see, each of these fields have properties mapped to them. So these are the properties which are going to capture your information or display the information. So you can find properties under data model category, property. See, Pega has created all the properties for you. So in a single step, Pega has created for you properties, created sections, flow actions, established mapping between all these three, and map them to the flow. Okay, so this level of automation you find from Pega 7. Earlier versions, we have to go manually create sections, flow actions, properties. You have to map them manually. There's no way this automatically mapped or done. Okay, so this is done. So first screen is done. Now I wanted to create one property manually, right? Because I wanted to give it as double. So let me create a new property. Right click on property and say create and name it as phone number. You can click here itself and you can give the data type. No need to get inside and give the data type. You can do it here also. So you can say it's double and say create and close. So new property is created. Now you can go back to your screen and in the screen you can map it. So sections are found under user interface category. Okay. For displaying a property, you need a text box, right? Text input. So I just somewhere here put a text box. Open the settings of your text box. You have to map a property to it. So dot phone number. Okay. And it is required or not, not required. Is it read only? Yes, right. So please make it read only always. Yeah, I just dragged it now. Okay, property. Yeah, you can drag a property also. Yes. Yes, you can even drag a property and pull it into your screen. That is also fine. You can just simply drag it like this. Even that gives a same thing. Oh, sorry. I was trying to drag a section inside it. Similarly, you can drag a property. You can simply drag a property. That also works. Okay, done. So now let me create a case and show you at least till now what we have done. So how to create a case? Create new, your case type name. Your first work object will be created. So now whenever you create a case, what is the first thing that gets executed? The first thing that gets executed is starter flow. Starter flow is the only flow which can create work objects. So who is the starter flow in this? Do you think collect information or member details? No. So there is a default starter flow called as py start case. This is the flow which starts first and it will start your stages. So this that goes and starts your stages. Okay. So py start case is the default out of the blocks flow. Okay. This is the flow. which starts your stages. Okay, so this is start case type. It goes and starts your stages. Now, so whenever you create a case, you get this default screen, which is nothing but new harness. I hope you guys know what is new harness, perform, review, and confirm harnesses. So this is new harness. This always comes when you create a new case in Pega. But I want to skip this. I don't want user to see this new harness default dummy screen. So what can I do? In the starter flow, under process tab, you have to click this skip create harness. Okay. And starter flow is the only flow which will have this checkbox. Creates new work object. Only starter flows can create work objects. Others cannot create. If you take any of your flows that you created now, none of the flows can create work objects. Only starter flows can create work objects. Okay. So I just said script create harness. So next time if I create a case, I'll not see that default screen. Okay. So this is the first screen, and this is your stage. Collect information. You have next stage is covered. Then you have to pharmacy step, then dissolve. And what is the status of my work object? Open. Status is open. Okay. What's your case ID? Work object ID A-1. Okay. Now people have a question. Hey, where is this prefix coming from? A-1. Can I change it? In my application, we have a requirement to change this prefix. Can I change it? Where can I change it? In some versions, it's an application rule. In some versions, it's in a data transform. Let me show you in this version. Okay. So in this version of Pega, if you just open your application rule, okay, under the cases tab, you'll find this prefix. Okay. So if if your requirement is to change the prefix of your work object, your client wants something else, you can give it over here. Okay. So you're done till here, till some part of your flow you have done. Now I would like to add some real-time things here. So let's say, for example, just like I told you, I want to change the prefix. Let's say, for example, I want to add a new rule set to my application. Till now, I only have rule sets called as approvals and approvals int, right? Your rule sets. I want to add a new rule set. I'm not talking about version. I want to add a completely new rule set. Okay, with a name as something like mm, like something like uh, auth routing, something like which holds all information about routing, or auth business rules, something auth biz. I want to add a new rule set. So you create a new rule set. Okay, you just right click on your class, create sysadmin rule set. You can create a new rule set. Just right click and you say you create sysadmin. There are rule sets. Are they not under sysadmin? One second. Okay, you can create them under sysadmin. You can create well and good, but your application will not pick your rules in the rule set at runtime. Okay, so why is that so? Means application is nothing but just a collection of rule sets. Okay, so whatever rule sets you specify here, only those things it will consider at runtime. So although you create a new rule set, you have rules in it, they are perfectly working, very good, but whenever you create a case, those rules will not get picked. Why? Because you didn't specify them here. So if you create a new rule set, you have to add them in this stack. Otherwise, that rule set is not a part of your application and that is not going to be picked. Okay. And this stack is very important. The order in which you put your rule set defines the hierarchy. See, this is the child and this is the grandparent. So approvals is the innermost rule set. Approvals parent is approvals int. That parent is AIG. That parent is AIG int. So the order in which you put your rule set is very important. So you have to decide where your new rule set fits in the stack, and you have to give it. Okay. And from Pega 7, okay, we have a new option here called as application validation or rule set validation. Actually, in lower versions of Pega, if one rule set wants to use another rule set rules, okay, maybe you have a section in X rule set, you have activity in Y rule set. From X, if you want to trigger the rules in Y, you have to give that Y as a prerequisite here. Means this rule set consumes the rules from this rule set. So we used to have like this. It should be like this. Okay. See, like this. This is called as prerequisites. Okay. Means approvals rule set would like to use rules which are there in approvals FW and approvals int. So every time you create new versions or you create new rule sets, if this rule set wants to use other rule sets, you have to define them here. And also versions also. So currently I gave only 010101, right? So if you have your activity in 02, it will not pick it. Okay. So what we used to do, we used to give like this, majors and minors we used to give. So 01 is major, second 01 is minor, no patch. So till 99 it will pick all your rules. Okay, 010199 is the last, right? After that 02 will come. So we used to give prerequisite every time for every new version to make sure that it picks the other rule sets rules. But from Pega 7, you have an option to say application validation. And when you say application validation, you need not give prerequisites here. From your application rule itself, it will understand, okay, approvals is the grandchild, whose parent is approvals int, whose parent is AIG and AIG int. So approvals automatically picks rules in this rule set. That is something new which came up in Pega 7. Okay. And I told you, branches. Okay, we'll work on branches in the next class, guys. I'll tell you. So usually when we have parallel developments, as I told you, you're working in 02 version and I'm working in 03 version. You also save as from 01, I also save as from 01. Tomorrow when your code goes into production, my code will never work because yours is the highest change. And you took from 01, you didn't took from 02. So in order to avoid that, what we do is we create branches. So it's like you and I work on the same. Pradeep, I saw your question. I'll get back to you. Okay, so if you and I were working for a release and we don't know whose code will go first, what we prefer is we prefer to take a branch. So I also create a branch, you also create a branch. Uh, Based on like who is going to go live first, we'll merge the code. Okay. So when we merge the code, if there are any code conflicts, it will show you. Like somebody else is the highest version before you or something else, it will show you. So it's always preferred to work in branches, but not every project usually works on branches. I hardly saw like people working, but it's good if you work in branches. Okay, we'll work on branches later. Nothing will happen to its parent. If you added rules it on top of approvals, there is a child. So this is a child, sorry. This is child. Child, this parent, this is grandparent, this is its parent, that's parent. Yes, it keeps on going. Nothing will happen to its parent. At runtime, Pega will first pick the rule in this. If it's not found in this, then this. That's how the hierarchy keeps going. How do we find out? Means you have to decide. So you are adding a new rule set. Uh, you have to decide like let's say if the same rule name exists in both approvals and in your new rule set, which one you want to pick, the child or the parent. Similarly, same rule exists in yours and your approvals in, which one you want to pick. So you have to decide, like if I want it here or I want it in between. Based on the rules that you're going to put over there, you have to decide like where you want to have it. Okay, that's it. So this is a new case type rule and this is how we created one stage. mm, okay, so guys, I want to stop it here because I see not maximum of you don't hold the software or you're not doing in parallel with me today. So there's no point in me just simply going and doing the project, right? It's for you people. Okay, so I'll stop it here. Okay, one second.